Hello, my name is Emilyann Marijan, and I'm an occupational therapy doctoral student at Cleveland State University. Today, we're going to be talking about my capstone project titled Integrating Mobile Overground Harness Systems with OpenCap AI Markerless Motion Capture for Children with Mobility Impairments, a PDSA feasibility study. The overall focus of my capstone was research and specifically exploring how emerging technology can help occupational therapy practitioners measure participation and engagement during play more objectively. My project took place at the Play on the Move Lab, which is a community-based program at Cleveland State University where occupational therapists, physical therapists, and speech linguist pathologists work together to create an inclusive play experience for children with sensory mobility impairments using mobile overground harness systems. These harnesses allow kids to safely explore, climb, reach, move, and play throughout an environment with limited environmental physical barriers. Working in this setting highlighted something that I have found to be really important within the pediatric OT setting, and that is that there are not many accessible and objective ways that we are able to measure participation and engagement during play, especially for kids who are using adaptive equipment. Most assessments currently rely on caregiver or clinician report, which while this is helpful, this is often subjective data. So the overall goal of my capstone was to see whether we could use OpenCap AI, which is a smartphone-based markerless motion capture system, to objectively capture movement and indicators of engagement and participation during these harness-supported playtimes. We were able to identify that objective measurement of play participation is possible, and emerging tools such as OpenGap AI may help practitioners capture meaningful movement data in these natural play environments. This is important because play is one of the primary occupations of childhood. For children with mobility impairments, participation is often heavily influenced by their environmental supports or barriers. My project shows that future practitioners are able to capture real and measurable data about how a child is moving, exploring, and engaging within their environment in a natural way. And not only that, but this also shows that we are able to meaningfully integrate AI-driven tools into our current clinical practice. Now, I'm not saying this to replace our professional judgment, but to complement it with objective, occupation-focused data that is measuring play and participation in ways that directly support evidence-based practice, family-centered care, and occupation-centered practice. The image that you see here is actually a screenshot of a session that I had during my capstone. This is from OpenCap. So when I look at the website, this is what I'm seeing. I am able to look at this video, timestamp when an engagement and movement and participation is happening, extract the data from OpenCap, put it into an Excel that I created, and look at the changes in velocity, movement patterns, and position to be able to objectively say that we have seen engagement and participation during these specific play movements. Overall, to evaluate feasibility, I used a 3-cycle plan, do, study, act design. As you can see here, cycle 1, cycle 2, and cycle 3. The reason we use this is because I'm able to make quick adjustments during each cycle. Across the cycles, we had 216 trials across 32 different sessions. I had the help of OT grad students, engineering students, and of course, my families that were my pediatric participations ages 7 to 17 months. As you can see here in cycle 1, our overall plan was just to establish a baseline with the camera and calibration setup. We did this by doing 12 different sessions throughout the time, and what we found was that the pediatric setting often had major glitching issues. There were calibration sensitivity, and when there was occlusion in the camera, this is when we would see that videos were just non-usable. So we adjusted our cameras and we moved on to cycle 2, which is where we experimented with everything. Camera setup, angles, tripod, clothing, you name it, we were trying all. The biggest improvement that we saw is that when we moved the calibration board from being up against the wall but to the floor, that we had major reduce in twitching and we actually had stable models. That was our biggest change in cycle 2. For cycle 3, with this one, all modifications, we changed them and went straight to testing for pediatrics, which was our huge success. I actually created the Excel spreadsheet, which allowed us to view the data during this cycle, and that is when we actually began to see success increase from less than 50% up to 85%, which is amazing. Overall, With my capstone, we demonstrated that OpenCap AI, when paired with optimized camera configurations and mobile overground harnesses, we were able to feasibly capture meaningful movement data during pediatric play. Across these cycles, we saw dramatic improvements in technical success, and we were able to take this data and see how it lines up with real engagement. This study lays an important foundation for future research and shows that accessible AI-driven tools can help occupational therapy practitioners move towards more objective participation-centered measurement. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to sharing more and answering any questions.